Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Campus Care Ed Talks. I am Nandini Upadhyay, your host of the show. Would like to welcome you all. So let me tell you a bit about Ed Talks. So Ed Talk is a platform where educators and leaders like you come on board and express their viewpoints related to education and society. So our topic for the discussion is developing effective strategies for school safety and security. And to express the viewpoints on the same, we have with us Mr. Neeraj Mohan sir, who is the principal of Model Sandeepani School, Pathankot, Punjab. Welcome, Neeraj sir. Next, we have with us Anita Nanda ma'am, who is the principal of Lala JNDAV Model School, Jalandhar. Welcome, Anita ma'am. Next, we have with us Mr. Gushminder Singh, sir, who is the director of Guru Ram Das Academy, Ludhiana. Welcome, sir. Now, next is Miss Indu Sharma, ma'am, who is the principal of Bhupendra International Public School from Patiala. Welcome, Indu, ma'am. Next is Miss Asha Sharma, ma'am, who is the principal of King Edward Public School, Hoshiarpur. Welcome, Asha, ma'am. And we have with us Miss Mohita Jain, ma'am, who is the headmistress and vice principal of Mind Tree School from Haryana. Welcome, Mohita, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Next is Dr. Pushkal Giri, sir, who is the director of St. Joseph School, Siwan, Bihar. Welcome, Pushkal, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
And last, we have with us Neeru Gandhi, ma'am, who is the director of the Oxford School of Education from Bhatinda. Welcome, Neeru, ma'am.
Thank you.
So, very warm welcome to all the educators present today, and so good to have you all. Thank you so much for taking out your time. And so, let's start with the session for today. So, my very first question is from Neeru, ma'am. Ma'am, what are the most pressing safety and security concerns facing schools today, and how can they be addressed? Over to Neeru, ma'am.
Um, Good morning, everybody. And lot thanks to NTAB, who is making a regular and lot of efforts to bring forward the issues faced by the institutions on this platform. And I think the discussions, these panel discussions, are really useful and fruitful to all the listeners. And of course, we as participants also learn a lot. Thank you, Anta. Sorry. Um, See, in the institutions, in the schools, the most pressing issues related to security, of course, is the security of the students, teachers, and the visitors, which can be parents or anybody who comes to the school. So, securities of all is equally important. As far as the students are concerned, or it is not only the physical security, it is like physical for the parents, for the visitors, it is the securities of the type that they are not they don't feel face any problems, their wards are secure inside the school, there are no intruders inside the school, people who come and go, they are properly washed and monitored so that no harm happens to their wards once they are in the school. These issues were always there, it's not that recently they have come up, but yes, the number is increasing with the increasing episodes of theft, bulgaries inside the school, during and after schools, then vandalism, then the fighting between the children, which take bullying, which takes place mostly in the playgrounds. Classrooms also there are here and there few instances, but normally it is in the playgrounds or when they go out somewhere. And Like it can be these things, thefts can be during the school hours, after the school hours, during the school hours, like their bikes, bicycles and all, they get misplaced, their things get misplaced after school. It is like somebody breaks in and the school property is damaged. So it is equally a concern for almost every stakeholder which is concerned with the schools. And it's like violence basically which is amongst the students as well as the teachers, and the students and the teachers. It's not among children only. It's these days the children are so aggressive because every parent has one or two children, and they are very very pampered, and they do not know how to handle themselves. It's not only the teenagers. We normally talk about teenagers, adolescents. No, I've seen small children also. They are so aggressive that they just refuse to obey or listen to anybody. So, in the seniors, among the seniors, it is with the children. Like, you tell a child you don't do this, or you turn a child out, and you see face the consequences. At times, I've seen children threatening inside the classrooms only to the teachers. Okay, I'll see you outside. Something like this. And then there are various other issues like these days, the abuses, various type of physical abuse, mental abuse, then drugs which are peddled inside the institutions without even, I mean, it becomes.
Neeru, ma'am, I request to please unmute yourself. By mistake, you have muted yourself.
It is very very difficult to at times find out at the right time that something wrong is happening, and sometimes it is very very late. Like, we have been listening to the instances related to such security issues. One, I will not name the institution, but some one child, he killed some child. Somebody you commit suicide in the school. Such like incidents we keep on listening, and that is again somewhere we lack security. Somewhere the surveillance, the vigilance has not been very very careful or close, so that such issues come up. And then basically what I feel is all this in the mental harassment. At times we, the educators, we unknowingly tell a child out of our anger, I'm in a fit of anger today, I've been, something has happened to me. I go into the class, I just yell at the children, I pass some unrequired required remarks to the children, which is not very well accepted, and the child takes it very very personally. So such like things, they keep happening, and we keep listening about physical abuses also. So what I feel is, it's not one thing, it's almost everything which is done in the institution, whatever happens, needs surveillance. And we need to see that proper securities in all forms are provided into our institutions, so that all untoward incidents are avoided. Like, it's not that we start taking precautions when something happens. Say for example, small little things in kindergarten, we are in a very way, we normally have separate blocks for that. We have separate special arrangements, assistants, teachers, so much stuff we have for their security, so that children don't get hurt. But then a teacher passes out, child run after her, हाथ दरवाजे में आ गया. Small small things. This can happen in house also, but of course schools become very very vulnerable. So we can have, say for example, a child gate, small gate with a child lock, so that child is not able to open. Little things may matter, and that way the parents who leave their child to us for 4 to 5 hours, the precious child I should say, because every child is very very precious to every parent. The parent should be mentally free that the child is in safe hands. So the foremost, which every school is almost using these days, is CCTVs. But the CCTVs, they are not just put. They are There has to be a particular person who is monitoring it all the time. Principal cannot sit and monitor the CCTV all of the time. But at times we just one employee I think when we are spending so much, one person can all the time, see these CCTVs and keep monitoring them. And along with that, that audio systems, if they are there. Suppose there is a scuffle in the playground, in the classroom between the teacher and the student. Okay, and there is an audio system. At least you can listen, because the child will say the teacher told me this. Teacher will say child told me this. Then whom will you believe? Parents will come and sit in front in your office, so at least if you are able to listen that audio, it will be very very useful to us. So then there can be other many other issues, like increasing security at the gates, putting visitor registers, which normally almost every institution again has, but the intruder detectors that can be seen. There can be high resolution cameras near the gate. If some person is regularly coming who is not in concern to the school, say he's doing some sort of suspicious activity, say he's selling something, he's giving something for drug peddling or something, so such things can be detected. So there are, and then of course, along the schools are big, along the perimeter, there can be various measures so that nobody jumps in, nobody breaks in, during the school hours, after the school hours. Because I've seen during functions in particular, it is very, very big issue for the schools to control the people who enter the school. Means especially the schools with more strengths. So then you can have the surveillance can be remote also. These days everything is available, everything is on your phone. You can keep watching, you can just keep watching after some time, if not regularly. So there are, I think, many 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 ways in which we can control these issues, problems which can arise due to some breach in security. But only thing is they have to be usefully seen. They have to be monitored very, very regularly. Normally, because the CBSE has made it mandatory to have cameras in the buses, where no harassment to the girls should take place. Camera is there, but who is monitoring it? We monitor after the incident has happened, ki kya hua tha, which is not okay. So I think this is what I suppose should be done. And that's it.
Thank you so much, Neeru ma'am. I would request Neeraj sir. Neeraj sir, would you like to add on to what just ma'am said about?
Wonderful evening to assiduous erudite edu leaders, co-panel members, NTAP team, as well as all the viewers. I want to congratulate NTAP team to always coming up with some other kind of wonderful initiatives. As far as today's topic is concerned, it is very compelling and pressing need of an hour. I will love to start with a quote, a shalok in Sanskrit, Vidya Dadati Vinayam, Vinyad Yati Patratam, Patratam Sukham Dhanam. तो अर्थात विद्या से हमें कौशल आता है, कौशल से हम धन कमाते हैं, धन से हम धर्म के काम करते हैं और धर्म के काम करने से हमें सुख की प्राप्ति होती है। अर्थात अगर जिंदगी का ultimate ambition or aim is to have contentment, and it starts right from the education. So we can well understand the importance of education in individual's life. And when you talk about education, that means we are talking about the youth, we are talking about the Gen Z children, and we are talking about the future leaders. So every child who is in any type of a school deserves to live safely and should have an excess of conducive environment. So when you talk about schools, environment, safety, protection, there are plethora, I must say, a gamut of activities which need to be taken care of with regard to safety and security of a child in a campus. You all will agree with me that with the access of internet and with the advent of technology, every individual is very much vulnerable, may it be in the campus, at your home, or anywhere we are. Even right now at this platform also, so everybody is vulnerable. Coming to the schools, first, if I'll talk about a systematic order, the moment child boards a bus until the child alights the bus, it's the responsibility of the administration of the school to ensure safety, security of the child. That's why we all are claiming a lot that our campus is safe campus. Now, starting from transportation, which could be one of the areas of concern, then it is the physical infrastructure of the campus. Moving on to cyberbullying these days, and apart from it, if it is a boarding school, then there are hell lot of safety measures which need to be taken care of. Like, I'm a principal who is leading a boarding school, so it is n number of other security features. Now let's start one by one. When you talk about the transportation, the government of India and the education ministry recommends safe school vahan scheme, so under which there are again plethora of parameters which every institution need to take care of. Like Gandhi ma'am was saying, that we have to ensure the that CCTV cameras are installed. There are speed governors in the buses, and top of it, there has to be a nanny, a female conductor in the bus, which is mandatory. Drivers, they must have a valid license, and from time to time, we have to ensure that the vehicles, we call it as fitness of the bus is done properly or not, and its seating plan, its layout, and there are n number of other modalities as well as security norms. So first and the foremost thing is that schools have to ensure that all these norms of transportation are met. Moving on, once the child enters the campus, then of course the first is the security check which the school has to ensure, because the children will be commuting on their own also to the campus through their parents as well as to school transportation. So proper frisking has to be taken place of. If I talk about my school, whenever we do have morning assemblies, so what we have done is we have created a squad, spy squad we call it as, on every floor. Like we do have two academic blocks, and with 1500 plus students, so we do have on each floor in every block created a team of two squads. So whenever we have an assembly, during that assembly period, the teachers, they randomly do the checking every day basis. They take up a class. So the two teachers, the team of two, would go to the classroom. They will like do frisking of each and every bag in the absence of the children. That's just to ensure that there is no any kind of children are generally habitual of bringing some unauthorized things which they should not. There could be an equipments, they could be an instruments which could harm anyone. Even we refrain them from bringing any kind of eatables in the campus. Though being a boarding school, we have a school run proper mess canteen. Still, none of the child is allowed to bring any eatables from home, not even on their birthday. So we do this, we ensure during this assembly time that such kind of, you can say, a practice is there at place. This sends some kind of you can say, a fear in the mind of the children that they should refrain from bringing any kind of undesired and unrequired material to the school. Apart from it, in the classes, like even Gandhi madam has told, these days a new practice which has cropped up is children start bullying. It's a physical bullying, physical harassment which happens, and most of the time it happens in the washrooms. So every institution, it's my advice that they have to ensure that there must be a camera which is always surveilling the washrooms. Though we are not authorized to install the cameras inside the washroom, but yes, outside, and there has to be a nanny or a teacher deputed there permanently. So we have on each floor, wherever there is a girls restroom as well as boys laboratory, we have permanently stationed one nanny, a female member there, which ensures that in a proper, in a smooth way, the transition of the students happen. If in case a child is taking longer period in the washroom, then that is something suspicious. And especially the problem arises in a boarding schools whenever we do have breaks. Like we have to serve breakfast to all the children. There will be time when the students will be going for snacks break. There will be time, there will be lunch break. And these are the time when the footfall will be the highest. At that particular times, we have again detailed a faculty who have to especially take care that the children enter in a rotation. And again, these are some of the safety measures which I would recommend and advise, which we are practicing, and we are really getting good results out of it. Then when you talk about these days children, they are tech savvy, and you cannot separate them from any kind of gadgets and devices. They all are using social media. So time to time, regularly, we have to keep on conducting some kind of seminars, webinars by experts as well as by the school faculty, where we keep on apprising them about the pros and cons, how they should use the cybers, how they should be aware with all the cyber law, so that the children again restrict themselves, and we can keep a check on their activities post school through social media also. Apart from it, there has to be, these days we all are coming across some kind of natural disasters. So every quarter we ensure that there is an evacuation drill done in the campus, wherein we have a proper layout plan where the children know that how, from which route they have to follow, and they have to evacuate the entire campus, where they have to assemble, and who all are responsible. Like electrician has to cut the power supply. There are different, what is the role of a peon, what is the role of a driver, what is the role of PO, what is the role of teachers, then school councils. There is a concrete and clear cut layout of emergency evacuation, and we do it every 3 months, so that mentally children are agile. And whenever any such catastrophe, like, so I must say that, so as to avoid the catastrophes. Then apart from it, of course, regular training of the drivers, regular training of the nannies. Time to time uh, we have to upgrade, we have to make them more aware, sensitized about their roles, about their duties. Now, then proper inspection, as well as proper police verification of each and every employee, may they be an academic class 1, class 2, class 3, class 4 employees. So since time is a limitation, I would love to sum up that safety and security of the children is just a process. So wherever there will be an ignorance, there would be a catastrophe. So we need to be always cautious, and we all need to be, keep on upgrading our existing systems. We cannot live on our past practices, whichever we do have made. So with this, I rest my voice. I hope I was able to justify the question assigned to me. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you so much, Neeraj sir, for sharing your school experiences. So my next question is for Indu ma'am. Indu ma'am, how can schools create a safe and secure learning environment while maintaining an inclusive and welcoming atmosphere? Over to Indu ma'am. Indu ma'am, are you there?
Yeah,
Yes.
good evening,
Yeah.
everyone. Very happy to be here, and thanks to NTAF. Good evening to my fellow co-panelists. Inclusive practices, very, very important. When we talk about inclusion, it is not only about the special children, the autistic or dyslexic children. It's also about a child moving from a rural belt to the city. The child could be a bright child, could be doing extremely well in mathematics, science, and other subjects. But when he lands in a class where everybody communicates fluently, all children around, teachers talk in English, and he's moved from a certain school where there were great teachers, but where there was no culture of speaking in English, this child can land into trouble. He can be unhappy child. So if the child is unhappy, that means our schools are not very safe environment. It would definitely, that means the emotional safety, we are not taking care. The emotional safety is as important as physical safety is, because if the children are not happy, they're not learning much. Happier children have a better learning capacity, have a better acquisition. So the teachers need to be trained. It doesn't, a school or a principal cannot depend on one odd special educator. All teachers at the time of induction need to be trained, educated. There could be a system of where they can shadow the senior teachers, teachers with more experience, where they understand that every child is unique and they need to take care of their needs without children verbalizing. They need to understand their body language. They need to understand why this child is not smiling, why this child is behaving in a certain way. So, a lot goes into teaching. It's not only about covering the syllabus. So, the emotional needs, the emotional security is of utmost importance, because children, land into health issues like high blood pressure, anxiety, there are certain kind of disorder, sleep disorder, because child doesn't want to go to school. Parents are so proud of selecting a great school, English medium school and school with great results, but the child comes home, stops eating, and so the school need to understand the inclusive doesn't mean only embracing, taking enfold the special children, but even children moving from rural belt would be suffering in a school where human resources not sensitized towards their duty. And we have to have teachers are like detectives, right? They are like diagnosticians who should be able to diagnose that this child is behaving in a certain manner. I had three students who were transgender, and they were kind of bullied by children. Teachers wouldn't understand what's wrong with them. There were two children who were, girls, but they were in the soul of boys. They wanted to dress up like boys. And there was a child, I wouldn't mention the name, but he was even interviewed by Amir Khan on Satyamev Jayate. He was a boy, but he had a soul of a girl, and he's doing extremely well in the Bollywood. Is an engineer, is writing scripts for movies and serials, but he was taken good care of, and it doesn't need a lot of experience, just need a good heart, uh, good soul to understand children's difficulties and struggles. So, if they have a comfort level, if they're not worried about being judged by principal or teachers, they would go up to the principal or teacher that, look, I have a boy's soul in a girl's body, and my parents don't understand, my teachers don't understand, my classmates and schoolmates tease me. So it is a role of a principal and teachers to educate and sensitize entire staff, not only teachers, the staff, when it comes to drivers, conductors, the guards, everybody in the campus. The children need to be sensitized that we need to be respectful to people around. They're made a certain way by God, and but they deserve to be celebrated the way they are, and they do extremely well. Now, India has woken up pretty late, only when they moved the Supreme Court. So they've done extremely well. So we need to train our older students to serve as mentors to children, so that they're not bullied, they're not mentally harassed in the school bus or in the playground or in the classroom, in the corridors. One of the panelists talked about children are bullied in the toilets, which is becoming an increasingly seen. And Madam Gandhi talked about, this drug peddling, which probably is happening in the rural belt, because these children take pride, especially the boys, they feel it is very macho to use any kind of a drug. So the frisking, then the squads, the detective squads, not necessarily always teachers being detectives. It could be seniors, students, the student council members. They could be frisking their bags that give them leadership qualities. And when in the classroom, certain children get a lot of compliments around their work, but there are others whose efforts go ignored. Now, everybody is performing according to his or her capacity. If educators could be sensitized to find out whatever little area they can see the strong point, or the child is doing better, need to be appreciated, so that each child could be celebrated, not a selective few. The schools are not place to, or classroom is not a place to celebrate just 10 children just because they're meritorious. There could be a sports child, there could be a child who's a good dancer, good singer, but he comes across a lot of sarcasm from parents that you're only good at bhangra or dance, why don't you study? Anybody who's good at dance or good at sports would definitely do well in life also, because these children know how to take challenges head on. Because when you're playing a game, you would know your move, you would not know your opponent's move. That means people who have a fragile brain, who are alert, they would take any challenge head on. So sports culture need to be promoted, because children who are into sports, they do well. They do literally extremely well in life. We all know, educators would agree, the panelists would agree. So we should regularly conduct these climate classes. When I say climate, the conducive climate of the school need to be assessed, gauged every now and then to find out the weak areas of the school when it comes to giving children emotional security, because we must ensure that our children do not produce cortisols, which are poisonous and can cause cancer. Rather, we should encourage STOs, those serotonins, dopamines, endorphins, right? Those happy hormones. Happy schools would produce citizens who would understand citizenry well, who would not abuse cyber freedom. So it's very important for schools not to be friendly, but to be motherly or fatherly. The educators and the people, adults and senior students need to be given that leadership roles, not only 10 to 20. Maybe one can have a student council of 200 students of class 11th and 12th, and then monitors need to be rotated every now and then so that every child feels important, not necessarily those who are getting 98% or above 90. Even somebody is getting 80, 70, 60% should be given that chance to be monitored, and then there'll be less problems, less issues around their mental health. So emotional security to me and is very, very important. That we reduce our work if our children are happy in the campus. Then they would not bully, they would not have complexes, they would not trouble others. Children trouble others only when they have troubled hearts, when they've been troubled by adults, when they've been troubled by some seniors. So there could be awards based on the behavior in annual function. The awards doesn't have to be only for co-curricular activities, declamation, academics, and sports. There could be a lot of awards around behavior of children, about values, a truthful child, most compassionate child, most empathetic child. Right, those kind of awards, if we introduce, I'm sure we would have happier places. Schools would be happier places. If we look back to our school days, we had such happy schools. I mean, I don't know why people say spare the rod, spoil the child. Our teachers were very patient, very affectionate. So once anybody who adopts this teaching profession has to develop that patience. One, teachers need to be oceans of patience like mothers are for their children. And we must remember the way father or mother forgives his or her child, even if child is sometimes rude, is unruly. If educators become large-hearted and forgive if child was rash or uncouth or was answered back, chat back, because they got so much exposure. At times there were hardly any channels. They get to see hero every time bullying, chatting back his mother, chatting back the teacher. So they think hero needs to have these qualities. So the children need regular counseling. If they're counseled like the way mother would counsel her child, the way father would counsel her child, and the way we forgive our children, biological children, if schools forgive children for their mistakes, because we all, even adults, even principals make a whole lot of mistakes. The prime ministers make mistakes. If you remember, we make mistakes, then children would make mistakes, and we all learn from our failures, same way children would do. Let's not over expect. Right? And thank you. I rest my case. Hope I added value to this webinar. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Indu ma'am, for sharing your point of view. I would like Mohita ma'am to please add on to what Indu ma'am said. Over to Mohita ma'am.
Good evening, everyone. Ma'am has already added so many things, but I have jotted down some useful points, like to create safe and secure learning environment. I feel first of all, the schools, they should have a trained staff, properly trained and appointed staff, and everybody should be issued a uniform. Every member, be it a teaching or non-teaching staff or your fourth class employees, everybody must be issued an I-card and a uniform, so that when they are entering into the school, any other member can be easily recognized. The safety starts right from the point where a child enters the gate of the school. This is one thing. Secondly, uh, the students who are coming to the school, they are coming from all state of society. For the infrastructure part, our government has already laid down the rules which come under fire safety, building safety, health, hygiene. These parts we all are required to complete in all different ways. So, for that part, I'm not going to discuss out much. The next aspect, that is the psychosocial aspect, that I feel is the most important, where actual work has to be done by human resources. So, one thing, like in our assemblies or in our classroom, the class teacher is the best counselor. She has to deliver talks in the class, in the assembly. We can pick up certain themes like values, and we must teach our students that what values they have to follow. These have to be strictly monitored. Every child should understand that I have to respect the dignity of the other person as well, whether it's a driver's child, a maid's child, or an officer's child, they have to be treated equally the same. Then sometimes the children who are coming from, say, lower strata of society or have taken admission under RTE, they are the most vulnerable ones, and they feel that we have no say in the working of this school, and they are the most vulnerable ones for any type of abuse also. So we can put up, every person needs to be guided, parents, teachers, as well as students. Everybody has to be guided in the manner that the if anything wrong happens, these are the channels which you have to approach and follow us. It starts with the suggestion boxes in every class, suggestions or complaints or any type of issue faced by a child which he is not able to communicate. Then there has to be a channel, a team, whose names, be it a teacher, some students, council members, principal, even the management members can be there, that every child, even the employees, the fourth class staff, they should be knowing that if I have a problem, this is the person whom I am supposed to contact. My things, they would be, if I have a problem, it would be addressed. So it is like a committee. Those type of committees have to be set up. CCTVs are there in place in all schools, but at the same time, we need to have our children open up, keep having talks with them from time to time. The teacher must be trained enough to identify that if there is a strange behavior of any child in school, that must be taken up seriously. And in case if a child is being abusive, a child is bullying on another one, be it a teacher who is bullying or anybody else, if there is a problem with the child, there has to be a proper contact system with the parent. It should not be highlighted in the whole class or amongst the staff members as well. That part should be avoided. A direct communication with the parent is required, where you can address the problem and find a solution for it. We have to be very particular about these things. Written communication with the parent is required. A channel has to be set up where the things can be monitored easily. In the buses also, every, like, there is a lady person is there, she must be provided with a phone in which if there is anything that is she feels is wrong, she should be able to record and send it to the principal immediately, so that the problems are addressed. A child should feel safe. I am in safe hands. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Mohita ma'am. So my next question is for Gushminder sir. So what policies and procedures should be in place to prevent and respond to potential threats to school safety? Over to Gushminder sir.
Good evening, everyone. It has been wonderful sitting through the procedure and listening to each one of you, starting from we can get to see some right here. Neeraj sir, Asha ma'am, and Gandhi ma'am, and the others don't appear on my screen, but well, here we go. We have been talking about the internal threats that the school normally faces and how we deal with it. I would like to take you a little away from that towards the outer side of it. To put a comprehensive uh, school safety plan at place, there is a multi-pronged procedure that has to be followed. We have to be aware about the outside threats that a school faces, and there are myriads of them, starting from hooliganism to some kind of a strike, some person getting kidnapped, some outside forces trying to create mayhem, and also the natural catastrophes that go along. That we have to sensitize our kids towards that. We have to put a play. We have to sensitize and the stuff that anytime a thing untoward happens, there's no one who panics. Everything is at place. The drills have been carried out times without number. Everyone knows what needs to be done when you are caught on the wrong foot. You know, First of all, everyone should know who to approach, where to go to, where do you get to have your first aid from, which is the evacuation point in case of a terrorist attack. You know, there are kids who are totally at stake, there are lives at stake. And as administrators, we need to be thinking big and beyond the normal. And what we need to do is also to ensure that there are various committees formed, first aid committee, there are rescue teams who know their jobs, how they have to rescue the people and the kids out. There also has to be an evacuation team. There has to be a transport management team. Everything should be at place. Imagine there could be an earthquake, there could be a tsunami, there could be just a cyclone, a flood, a cloud burst, a bomb threat, and the list goes on and on. So, are we really ever trying to make our kids and the staff sensitized about it? Do we know where we have to go? Otherwise, we will all end up getting, to get into a panic. The lives would be at stake. Also, we need to know which hospital we need to carry our kids to in case of some kind of casualties or some other things. We also need to know how to communicate. Where do we ask for help? Which police station do we go to? Which fire station do we ask help from? Where is the blood bank? Where is the pharmacy? Could there be a civil defense chap who could be called? So there is much more to safety and security than addressing it within the house. We need to look beyond also. Thank you very much. God bless.
Thank you so much, sir. So, my next question is for Asha ma'am. Ma'am, what measures can be taken to mitigate bullying, harassment, and other forms of interpersonal violence within schools? Over to Asha ma'am.
Thank you, Nandini. It's my privilege to be the part of this such a wonderful platform. As far as bullying is concerned, this is not a simple thing to say. I think bullying is a traumatic condition. If it could happen to a child, it can carry on very long in his life. And for this all, we have to create a very sporting atmosphere in the school. First of all, a very lovely classroom where the students should have a good friendship with each other, a very sporty behavior of staff, teachers, then a good communication of teacher and parent, and a very strong relation between child and parent as well. Because these four things, when we will make a good web, then we can feel in this web the child is safe. For this all we are doing in the classrooms, like we are arranging the group training especially of the senior students. As Madam Neeru was saying, this is happening in the playgrounds, and Mr. Puri told that it's happening in washrooms and all these areas. We are addressing all these things into the class in the group trainings, and we are even clearing the students about what kind of behavior is expected to be in the classroom if we have to run with a smooth school. Secondly, the bullying is not happening physically in the classroom. I think nowadays this is coming through a very smart web. So we have to make the children, we can say, we can call them the digital citizenship skills should be there among the children. They are using the devices every day. Like parents used to say us, they are not going outside the home. How they can be like condemned for any kind of this such a things. I used to tell them, no need to go anywhere. The word inside the classroom is there for them, or word inside their bedroom is there. So what kind of devices they are using, what kind of gadgets they are using, that all has to be taken care. Okay, in the classroom or in the school, we can monitor the things, but what about the home? We have to go for the parents training as well for this. Parents should be aware of this all technology. Like sometimes, usually parents come to us, ma'am, they were studying overnight in their room. I used to tell them, have you searched their YouTube history or their web history, what they were really studying? The thing is, as we are in rural belts, so here parents are not quite like aware about how to handle these devices and all. Like these two things are impossible for us, but we should do like email passwords and phone passwords. If they could share with their parents, then we think we can say, okay, we can at least save the children from sharing such kind of things with others. Like I know, even you know, they are making their fake accounts where they're putting their age more than what they are right now. They can put the age, but they don't know what kind of data they should share on the web. Sometimes they're sharing their personal information, and that can cause a harassment or blackmailing later on. Like they don't know what kind of age group they are going to make the friends on instas or friends on this Facebook or anywhere like that kind of platforms. So all these things should be commonly handled with the parents and the teachers. Like we have banned the mobile phones in school, but even then we have to check it out. Like as Puri sir was telling that frisking of the bags and everything has to be done. We used to do this all, and sometimes it happens the parents don't know from where the mobile has come with the child. These things should must be taken care by everybody. And what more is adding nowadays, as in we are in Punjab, I think all would be agreed. These Punjabi songs, whatsoever they're listening on TV every day, they are making them like dawns. They're having some kind of sense which in real world doesn't actually exist. So going in the form of friends in a group just to beat any child or just to make any kind of that kind of atmosphere among the age groups, that matters a lot. So I think parents should even must know what kind of literature or what kind of culture they are going to add in their life. These all things should must be sorry, taken in care. And moreover, as sir was saying, CCTV cameras, audio video cameras, these things when we have put in the classroom, it makes a big difference. Like they know what to speak into the class. Otherwise, bullying not among the children, bullying to the staff, bullying to the drivers, and this kind of things were happening into the school. But now I think we are adding a lot these kind of things, as madam was telling. Okay, let the children speak what they want to speak, but it should be in a limited atmosphere of like communication with a good way, and respecting each and every child into the school, honoring their views and opinions also makes a matter. Especially these CRs, head boys, head girls, all these things are the part of team nowadays, just to help each and every child. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Asha ma'am. So, my last question of this session is for Pushkal sir. Sir, how can schools balance the need for heightening security measures with the promotion of an open and nurturing educational environment? Over to Pushkal, sir. Pushkal, sir, you are on mute.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
So thank you, ma'am. And my all the school leaders have made the different important points on school safety measures. So I want to have some more add on that points also. So please, to be effectively tackle these all pressing safety issues, the school must work collaboratively with the parents, then community members, then any law enforcement agencies to share the resources, expertise, and the best practices also. So we need to firstly change the school environment safely. A positive environment could be changed to promote in the respect manner. And by opening these all relationship among all the members to have shooting and student violence also, we can also have the violence in school shootings in our campus. To prevent this, we need to have some law enforcement. It is essential to detect the potential threats, and we can help school resource officers. We can establish in our campus. We can also use the NTAC. uh, NTAC means the national threat assessment centers also. And because we need to have a safely or school environment, to regular monitoring is necessary for that. So for regular monitoring, we need to establish our some teachers on floor in charges, especially in the toilets and in the recess period, in interval period, and so on. We need to have promoting a safer and secure environment for all our students, because this is the really the critical concern right now, to how to have raised awareness about the potential dangers that students may face in school setting fast. And as parents and educators, continuously we need to seek how to create a safe and nurturing learning environment in our campus. That is very, very needed. And to tackle the current school safety issues, we need to become an urgent challenge that demands in a multifaceted approaches, and focusing to improve, to create a safe atmosphere for our students, to have the mitigate and fostering sense to belonging, the promoting in a safe and healthy environment. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Pushkal, sir. So, this is how we come to the end of the session. So, thank you so much to all the educators for imparting your knowledge and experience to the topic. It was indeed a very insightful and informative session where we all discussed some real life examples and experiences. So, looking forward to such more sessions with you all. So, I, Nandini Upadhyay, the host of the show, would like to sign off. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you, Nandini.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much. And thank you, everybody. Thank you.